Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elle for those of you stopping by for the very first time. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first to know when I do post next. Today's video is a continuation from my mercy ship story. And if you haven't yet seen that video, I recommend that you have a look just so that you'll be on track with the story. Today's video is something that I've never really had the confidence to talk about with anyone apart from my parents and my psychologist who know about this story. It's something that I've been so ashamed to talk about. That little girl who her parents sent her off to an orphanage, the fear of rejection, being abandoned and not good enough, everything just flowing through my head. The thing about healing is that it's so complicated and it's something you can never really understand. I believe that part of healing is facing your fears and your insecurities head on and taking back that power that the fear and the rejection and the fear of not being good enough has taken away from you. I'm sitting right here. I'm nervous, I'm sweaty, I'm shaky, but this is my healing journey and I'm not gonna let anything take that away from me. After I returned back from mercyship, life was very difficult for me and my family. My house is not the typical house that we have. My house was very different. We didn't have doors or windows, light or anything like that. We had a blanket that we used as a door. We didn't have money or anything to get proper food to eat. We used to sleep on the floor. I remember eating plain rice with red oil. If you're an African, you know what red oil is. Red oil is something that we get from palm trees and all those things. So this is what I used to eat, plain rice with red oil and a sprinkle of Maggi cubes. We didn't have money to buy things, all those fancy things to cook. The only time I've actually had meat was when I was in mercyship. Other than that, my family never had enough money to buy meat for us to cook. Seafood was okay, as my dad would catch some fish every now and then from the farm. Even though we had a farm, there would be times when we get a bit of money from selling the goods to people. Dad was mostly the one who took care of the farm while Mom does the selling at home in front of our house. I enjoy spending a lot of time with Dad at the farm as he would show me how to plant things. One of the things that I remember he used to show me was planting potatoes, cassava, tomatoes, cucumber, a lot of fun things. And I remember we used to get so excited when the things would be ready to be picked. At some point, because sometimes we have to wait so long for the goods to be ready to be picked, Dad started making beds. It's not the typical beds that we have. So Dad used to make beds from rice bags. So he would use these rice bags and sew around them like a quilt cover, then fill them up with hay and selling them to people. On the days where Dad wouldn't go to the farm, I would then help Mom out to sell some things. She used to put things on a tray for me, which I'll carry on my head and go around the neighborhood to sell. But one day, as I was selling, I came across this lady who is still alive up to today. She saw me. She was very upset at me. She asked me where were my parents and why they were giving me things to sell in my condition. At this time, I've come to the conclusion to accept my hand, how it has turned out. It was healed. Mom and Dad weren't worried, and certainly I wasn't worried either. The lady held my hand and followed me all the way home, demanding that I take her to my parents. I took her home. I saw her and my parents talking. She told them there is an orphanage, taking children who have suffered from the war, who have been abandoned or don't have families. She told my parents that she has just recently taken her son there, and they should consider taking me there as well. So after a while, Mom and Dad had a thought about it. They didn't mention anything to me. One day, my parents sat me down. They told me that they've thought about what the lady had said to them, and they've concluded that it would be right for them to take me there as well. There I will get a family who is going to love me and provide me with the things that they can't give me staying here with them. At that point, I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know anything about orphanage or what they were talking about. The following day, I remember Mom got me ready. We woke up early. She got me ready. Still that little girl not knowing anything that was happening. And not knowing that at that very moment, my life was about to change. I remember the dress I wore that day. Mom had put me on this beautiful dress. She was crying. She was getting me ready. Dad didn't cry. Well, at least not in front of me. Dad and I were about to leave the house. Mom told me to be good and to behave myself, and that she will come and see me very soon. So Dad and I set off to the orphanage. I remember because we used to live far. We used to be at the village. So to come all the way to the city was a very long trip. So we got to the children's orphanage. From the distance, Dad saw the house and told me, "Look at this big house. This is where you'll be staying. You'll be getting proper food to eat. You're going to make new friends. You're going to get new nice clothes to wear." I remember holding on to him so tightly. Everything was just going through my head. Still very confused. I saw this massive green gate. I saw the gateman came and opened it for us to enter inside. We got inside. There was a lady who escorted us to the living room. We went to the living room. They gave us a drink, asked us if we wanted food. Dad said no, but requested that they should get me some food to eat. So while I was eating, the lady came and took Dad away. They went into the office. They were talking. I could hear them in the background. They were talking. They were there for a while. I was still in the living room by myself. I was just looking, so fascinated about the light. Because back at my house, we didn't have light. We used to use lamp. That's what we had. So coming here where I could see tiles on the floor. There was chairs, proper chairs to sit on. Everything was fascinating to me. Dad came back and sat next to me. He grabbed me and he put me on his laps. He was looking at me, but when he came, I just felt that something wasn't right. He put me, I sat on his lap. He was looking at me. He told me that everything was going to be okay. He told me everything was going to be okay. He put me back on the chair. He said, eat. He told me to eat and that he was going to the toilet and that he will be back very soon. So I said, okay. I sat on that chair for a very long time. I sat there, I was waiting and waiting. I waited for him. He didn't show up. I was getting a bit worried and asking the lady, I said, where is my dad?